myself, yeah. But I'm a force when we're together. I mean, good all by myself. But baby girl, you make me better. 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 Hey everybody, of course y'all already know who this is. It is She Said. She Said. It is your girl.
Huh?
I
can invite.
Okay. It is your girl Majesty and the minister.
What up?
We wanted to come on and say hey to everybody. We did a last video where we kind of talked about Wakanda
Forever.
and we've been having quite a good time with Wakanda Forever. As we know, Wakanda has grossed $1 billion.
Shout outs.
So shout outs to everybody in Wakanda land who has gone on and have done great things with this movie. Shout out to all the chocolate folks in it.
Yes, which was awesome. That was awesome to see.
Apparently now they've already decided that they're going to be doing a part 2.
Wakanda Forever.
So we already know what that's going to be about. So we're grateful for that.
Yes.
So I'm hoping to see a whole set of another black people on it. Now, who do you think that maybe they should add onto the movie that they didn't add this time? I think they need to add
what's the guy
Whoopi.
from the Matrix? Lawrence Fishburne.
I think they need to add Whoopi. Whoopi needs to be one of the old councilmen, the councilwomen. You know, like you know how they had the lady with the little puffs at the end and the round table council. I think that they need to get her, she needs to be one of them people. That's what I think.
Yeah. What's up, Tierney?
Who else do you think they could add? I think they need to add Taye Diggs. Why not? I would like to see Taye Diggs and something like that. I don't know, because he's just the all chocolatey and everything.
You this chocolate thing.
We want all the melanin we can
Morris
get.
Chestnut.
Morris Chestnut could be the new Killmonger.
I like Morris Chestnut. No, I like the one they got. Why are you trying to get rid of the people they got in the movie?
I'm not trying
to. They should add, not add and take off somebody.
No, we don't want to take away no. Well,
they have to find a new part. Sanaa Lathan.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it? Nobody else?
I can't think of nobody else.
You know who they need to put? The girl from How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, the lady.
Yeah, the lady.
Yeah, she's good. I can't remember her name. You remember her name? She's real good. Oh, yeah, she would be good in that.
And Cicely Tyson could be somebody's grandma.
Cicely needs to be in every movie that there's a black person in from this point forward.
First of all, can we talk about the fact that Cicely Tyson is in her 90s and she is still rolling around here fresh to death?
Amazing.
Looking like not a day over 60.
Because we don't crack.
So, hi everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm hoping that everybody has had an awesome Sunday and that you're relaxing. As you can see, we have a different background. We are in the bed, honey.
Yes.
Because, you know,
it's that time.
It's that time for the both of us. That's how you know it's love. When we're both on at the same
this kind of love. I don't want it. I'm just saying. I don't want it. If I could give it back.
You know it's love when y'all both are on the same thing at the same time. That is nothing but pure love.
No, it ain't. You right. You know like me. So I'm just goofing off right now. I'm trying to add people to the broadcast before we get started on topics, but I'm done adding. I'm tired of it now, baby.
Okay, you tired of adding folks?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
If they ain't on, they ain't on.
Okay, well, they just gonna have to watch it later.
Yes. Shout out to everybody out there. Tierney said, what's up? Hey, bro. Clark. All right, cool. So we good. All right, so let's go.
Okay, so we wanted to talk about a couple of things this week that have been coming out in the news, that have been on everybody's lips, and
some people that are woke.
Yeah, some people that are woke. And I say that woke word loosely. The boo thing and I last Sunday,
Was it Sunday? Yes, it was Sunday. From 9 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. Yes. The Boo Thing and I spent the entire day binge watching the 7 Seconds on Netflix.
Netflix original.
It's an original series on Netflix.
She watched it when she was. I watched it when I was. We watched it together.
Yes. So we watched the show, and there are 10 episodes of the show.
Yes. And if you haven't seen it,
please go on and
go watch it. And I'll tell y'all why I said no later on.
Go watch the story and get your life, because it's actually a very, 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 very good show.
Don't go see it. Don't watch it.
Unfortunately, a lot of people were very upset with the way that the show ended.
The ending was horrible.
Okay, well, let me give y'all a little bit of what the show is about. So the show takes place in New Jersey. And the premise of the show is that you have this 16-year-old boy who is found in the snow, dead in a park. And he had been sitting out there for 12 hours long. The twist to the story is that he was hit in a car by a cop, a narcotics cop, nonetheless. And this cop seemed to be a rookie of our narcotics team, and he called his superior, who told him to just go.
No. That ain't all. He calls the superior. They come on the scene. They see what's going on. They know that somebody's dead. They see who it is. They know that's a kid and it's a black youth. And they tell him to dip, and they go on. They leave the boy dead.
Yeah, they basically left the boy there to die.
Right.
Apparently, the way it looks like and the way it's portrayed is that he was busy in his phone when he should have been driving.
Right.
And he was rushing to get to his wife, who was having a crisis in her pregnancy.
Right. And they lost a baby before.
And they had lost a baby before, and he was worried, so he was trying to get to her.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it.
But go to the ending, because we get
it just goes through the trials and tribulations of what happened. Needless to say,
the investigation part,
the
cover-up part.
The cover-up part is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because the guy who actually hits the child seems to be remorseful at certain parts of the series.
Throughout the whole series.
And it's like, I think I should say something. And even started to go to his captain to tell. And was stopped by his superior.
His wife even was like, nope.
She
don't say nothing.
Said that this woman was probably some welfare mama who didn't.
Why was he out there?
Why was he out there at that time in the morning? He was probably a gangbanger and all this type of stuff. So now they're giving you this background, and this wasn't. And he came from a good family, a mother and father in a home. They lived in their own home. They had just purchased a home. Yeah. So this wasn't your single mom type of deal. This was a different perspective of more often than not what
two-parent home, and they were married together.
And married together for 20 years.
Yeah. So, but fast forward, baby.
So fast forward to all of that. We get to the end. Now all the investigation is done. The prosecutor did her due diligence.
Trial finally.
They arrest all of the officers. But let us not forget that what the series showed me was, I think, a little bit of what we already know happens within the police department and African American men and our African American youth. It actually showed a lack of empathy, compassion, racism, and everything. And it showed racism on different levels, because you had other police officers that were in the unit. One in particular who was Puerto Rican, and he was getting racial slurs, but he was okay with it. Mm-hmm. Which to me is never okay, because you just gave them a pass to low grade you. But whatever. Nonetheless, it happened. And now we get to the end. The jury hears the closing argument.
And mind you, the lady presented some overwhelming evidence in her closing argument that he indeed knew the race of the person hit and knew it was a black male child, and he chose to leave him there to die.
So with that being said, with him doing all of that, they came back with a guilty verdict. No, even. He decided to plead guilty because he just was ready to be done with the situation, and he knew he was in the wrong. Mm-hmm. It had already been proven that he did hit this kid. Mm-hmm. It was just a matter of how much time he was going to get. So, and the family wanted him to actually confess of what he had done.
That was part of the deal.
So
and he would not. He took all the blame for it.
He-
And so what happened is that okay, they found guilty but not guilty of what was it?
The hate crime.
So he wasn't guilty of hate crime. Guilty of vehicular something, negligence, something like a misdemeanor. And so when it came time for him to get sentenced, the max that he could get for that charge was 5 years. So we were thinking that was what he's going to get, but unfortunately the judge decided to pretty much give him like
365 days and would be out in 30 days with good behavior.
30 days with good behavior, pretty much is what he got for pretty much killing a child, leaving them to die.
Exactly. And I personally was not angry.
I was heated by the ending, and I'm gonna tell you why I was heated by the ending.
Okay, go ahead.
This current climate that we live in, we see those things every single day. There's probably not a week you can go by without someone, minority, being killed by the cop or somebody else, accidentally, unaccidentally, whatever. There's always some suspicious circumstances leading to their death, and we see that all the time. We see maybe somebody getting charged for it, but even if they get charged for it, they never get convicted of it. So we see that repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. Me personally, I was hoping that this art would not imitate real life. I was hoping that this story would give me some type of glimpse of hope, something different than I normally see every day. If I had known the ending was going to be the same thing that we get all the time, I would not have watched it. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to see that again. I want to see the right people finally win. Justice finally prevail, for our court system to truly be unadulterated and unbiased. And when you're presented with, obviously, evidence that says, hey, this person was murdered, whether you're a police officer or not, you deserve to pay. I have an issue that wasn't done, and I was upset that this was now the ending, because I'm like, well, dang, this was a waste of time. I could turn on the news and see that.
I mean, me personally, I didn't find the ending. I wasn't upset with the ending. I kind of figured that what was going to happen. Though I understand your point when you say that you wanted that fantasy, you wanted that. That feel like you gotta win in what you saw, but
we get so many losses.
We do.
So many L's.
We take so many L's, but in all actuality, I'm glad that it ended that way, because it made. I hate
For what
that.
purpose? It's not like somebody's gonna watch a show and something's gonna just all of a sudden change. Our justice system's gonna change, or our laws are gonna change, or people are gonna finally do the right thing, or that did nothing. It did nothing for me.
I mean, looking at it, I just looked at it as, well, I expected that to happen. I expected it to happen. And it's sad that I had to expect that to happen, as opposed to saying, oh, well, I hope that justice is served and different things of that nature. No, quite frankly, I knew that that's what it was going to be. Let's be honest. How many times have we seen these police officers not get anything for what they do to people? And they're in the wrong. Case in point now, the officer who killed Sandra Bland, because it's exactly what he did, he was indicted, and now come to find out that all charges for him have been dropped. But he can never go and be a police officer again. So you lightweight know that he did something wrong.
Right,
so for that, you're not gonna allow him to ever be a police officer again. However, he can still. He still gets to be a free man. Meanwhile, Sandra Bland is dead. So, reading that Sandra Bland's, the officer who killed Sandra Bland got off, was just affirmation for me that the show depicted the truth, more of the truth. And I think that that's what the show actually gave me, the truth. We always know that the police system is corrupt. We know it. That blue wall of silence that they have amongst each other is ridiculous, which is something that they highlighted in the series. The fact that even when they go to court and all the evidence in the world is presented to show that this person is guilty, they still get off with a slap on the wrist. Now, had been a black officer like the Asian officer in Brooklyn, New York, in Pink Houses Projects, who killed that young man in the hallway, they sent him to jail. But of course, he's a minority. He's not a white cop. So with that being said, of course, you're gonna make an example of the minority in this entire situation. But let us not forget all the Freddie Grays and everyone else who have who these cops have done things, who have killed them. And Sean Bell is a prime example of that. And every cop has gotten off on a technicality or gotten a slap on the wrist. But this Asian officer was actually sent to do real time. So the mere fact that in this series they got nothing, I wasn't surprised. I was just like, well, it kind of is what it is. But it should be a pop in the face to everyone again that this is life and that we must continue to be woke.
It's not just a matter of being woke. We just gotta do something. Like, this is just, I'm just over it. I'm really over it. I was not happy. I mean, yes, the series is really good. Outside of that, real talk, the series is really good. I really was just hoping for a different ending. That's the part that really bothered me more than anything. I wanted a different ending.
I mean, I think that we all wanted a different ending. We all want the happy ending.
Hey, fam.
But I don't think that we're ever gonna get the happy ending. It's always going to be something, and it's so disheartening.
That's why I was like, I was not happy about the ending. Like, my mood was the same. Like, it actually made me feel worse. So I'm like, dang, we can't even get a happy ending in a series? Like, it's like, well, jeez.
But I'm glad that the series actually sparked some sort of conversation with people.
Did it really? The conversation's still been going on. This is not a new conversation. This conversation has been going on for time and time again. Police brutality of people is nothing new, especially people that are minorities. That's not new. This is not the first time. It just started happening in 2017.
True.
So that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm over it. I want my 7 seconds back for watching 7 seconds.
Well,
That's how I feel about it.
You mean your 10 hours.
Right.
Because we sure did sit for 10 hours. We didn't move. We were supposed to go get food and didn't even go get no food. We stayed and watched 10 hours of this show. And Babe wanted her 10 hours back.
I sure did.
I was looking at it like it was to be expected. I'm glad that it gave me an accurate depiction of what actually happens in our society. It's bad that it comes on, that it has to be shown the way that it was. However, I kind of feel like that's just a slap in the face to kind of let us minorities know that we're never gonna get ahead in Bella, go sit. We're never gonna get ahead in this situation. It's always going to be something. Bella, sit.
Right. Go sit down. Sorry, child wants to play. But yeah. So it has anybody? Have y'all seen it? Has anybody seen 7 seconds? Because I see a lot of people have seen it, but I wasn't sure if anybody that's watching has seen it just yet.
So if you haven't seen it, take a moment and go watch it. Again, this is about a middle-class family, a father. Oh, and then wait.
Oh gosh. Oh, this had a lot of twists. Oh no, you can't tell her. That's a huge spoiler alert.
No, then no. I gotta give that spoiler. No, because this is what I hate. Okay.
She was upset about this. I was like, oh, okay.
This is one time when I felt they tried to push that agenda on us. Now,
ooh.
Yes, and that's how I felt, and I'm a woman of the community. So this is what happened. So in the story, they were trying to figure out why this boy was in the park at 6:30 in the morning when he got hit. Now, what had happened is that it was almost alluding to some sort of relationship between him and another kid. And Babe hit it on the head and was like, he was with that boy. He was gay. And I'm like, nah.
I saw it coming a mile away.
They not finna do that in this. I didn't think it was doing. Now, mind you, both parents or the father was super religious. Mom was losing her religion in this whole situation. And there was a focus on God around the entire thing. And the father praying and asking God.
They were involved in church.
They were involved in church. Actually, they were at choir rehearsal, when the police were trying to get in contact with them.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay, it had a very, it was like a faith, they were a very faith-based family. And
no, I can't even say that. I want to say they were religious. And I'm going to say preface that because of the difference. Yeah, there's a difference.
Okay. Why?
Well, the dad's issue was religion, with what he felt that was taught to him and what was told as far as being gay and those type of things. The son never told his parents at all. and he didn't tell them because he knew his dad's reaction. And actually, when the dad found out, because the best friend,
who happened to be his lover,
told the dad that they were together, and
Yeah.
the dad pretty much kicked his butt out of the door.
Yeah.
His reaction was exactly what
the son knew it was going to
it's
be.
gonna be.
The boy's lover, actually, Brenton is the boy who passed away. So Brenton's lover was the one, he came to his father. Well, the father actually went to the best friend, trying to figure out exactly what type of
Right.
relationship they had.
No. He wanted to know what was his son like. He wanted to know about his son because throughout the story he realized that he worked so much trying to provide, trying to move them out into a good neighborhood, that he missed a lot of his son's life. And so he really didn't know who his son was, what he liked, what he didn't like, what he didn't like, what he wanted to be, his hopes. He didn't know him. He didn't know him at all. And so he asked his son. We're talking about 7 seconds right now, Jessica. So he asked his son's best friend, what was up? Telling me about my son.
And he also asked him a direct question. Why was he in the
He
park?
asked him.
Why did he have
knew.
that bike?
He knew.
I think that the father actually did know that he was going to come out, that he was gay. He said, and he admitted it to the pastor. He said he knew he was special, but he did not know exactly with what. And lo and behold, the son was gay. And the friend wanted to go to his room to see his room. And I guess to be close to him. And in that moment is when he told his father that they were lovers.
Right.
And he was like, get out of my house. He wasn't this
like,
way.
no, not my son.
Not my son.
Like that.
I was so angry.
I was like,
let me explain something to you. I was hoping that it did not go that way. Because the last thing I wanted to see with dealing with everything surrounding the racial issues, the police, that blue wall of silence, the last thing that they needed to add on top of this was the gay factor.
But see, I think that was perfect, honestly, because it set up the reason why he was in the park had nothing to do with anything that everyone else was thinking. He was not a gangbanger,
which is what they were saying.
Selling drugs. He wasn't doing anything illegal, anything along those lines. It wasn't the normal reason why they thought a teenage black boy would be in the park that time of night. It had nothing to do with that.
He was actually snuck out the house to go be with his boyfriend.
And he took that route because it was the shortest
route
route for him to get to school.
So the boy was going to school. It wasn't like he was just hanging out and being some recluse. He actually was not. And what the cops thought was that he was just a gangbanger.
Right.
Now, the Boo thing was a gangbanger.
And his dad thought he was like, might be in the life too.
Yeah, his father.
Yeah, that's how much he didn't know him.
So it was just like, I was completely upset with it because I did not want them to put the gay stamp on it. Like, you could have did everything, left everything the way it was. You did not have to put the gay stamp on it.
I liked it.
Now,
I thought it brought up more issues outside of just what was going on, just within our own community, just African American community. That's the only community I can speak for right now. But I know with our community and our youth that they perceive a certain image, especially his best friend. He was a thug. I mean, he was like hard, and he portrayed this image because he knew if he portrayed anything else that he would be attacked, beat up, whatever else, which he ended up being, beat up and attacked.
Yep.
And all those things when people realize, oh, that what was going on with you.
Exactly. So now it
was now that part. Okay, they can only give him back 7 hours then. Yeah, that part was good. I enjoyed it.
I mean, I like the fact that the father kind of came to grips with his son's sexuality toward the end.
Yeah.
And then he embraced the boy and actually helped him.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good thing, especially
and the pastor helped him do that.
Exactly.
That's why I liked it. I was like, that's what's up, because that was not the normal situation that you would see in religious-based, Baptist-based church, because that's what it seemed like they were, very Pentecostal, Baptist, whatever denomination around that were. But his pastor's response was totally different.
And that was a beautiful thing because it could have went another way. Yeah. I mean, we all know that we got family members who be trying to convert us. Oh, we need to talk about, what's that one, Donnie McClurkin, too. I'm going to remember Donnie McClurkin.
What's she doing now?
We're going to segue into that one. But 7 seconds, if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a real good show. And it brings the topic of conversation that you should take to the water cooler at work and with other people and start asking yourself the questions. When you see especially you white folks, you pink people, I need y'all to really start asking yourselves about your biases and
Her
start.
views do not reflect mine.
I'm just asking the question.
But not just them, just people, period. Whether they're white, blue, purple, black, or anything like that. Everyone, and the reality is everybody has some kind of bias. That is reality. Hey, Therese, everybody has some type of bias. But you have to be honest with, is my bias affecting how I view this person, how I treat this person, perceive this person, look at their abilities, their skills? Is this affecting those type of things? Is it affecting my relationship with them? All those things. All of those things. The bias is the issue. It's exactly.
Bias.
Color's not. Bias is the issue. That's what my concern is. And this was a show that everybody had a bias. Even his parents had a bias. Even his boo thing, the best friend, had a bias. Everybody had some type of bias in this. And that really was the whole issue. Even the cop that was helping the district attorney, he had a bias. Like
because he too assumed that he was a gangbanger and that he wasn't good or anything either, which was totally wrong. Mm-hmm. But since we're on the gay thing, let me get on sis Donnie McClurkin. Now,
she my sister.
Now, Donnie McClurkin, for some of y'all who don't know, is a minister who was once gay and got the gay prayed away. Allegedly. But that woman got more female tendencies than me and the minister put together. Okay? And she can sit up here and tell me all day long that the Lord has delivered her and that she likes women's now.
You foul.
And she's not the gay anymore. But you and I know different Donnie McClurkin, and I'm going to need you to have several seats. So Donnie McClurkin, is being accused of leading a gay cure cult. Now they're calling it a gay cure cult. They're calling it a cult because basically Donnie McClurkin and everybody and all the prayer warriors of his church is supposed to be laying hands on the gays and just delivering them from this sin. For real? So, and people in the community are getting very upset. And when I mean the community, people in the religious communities are getting upset about Donnie McClurkin coming out saying that he's, not even he, but I'm assuming that members from the church are who's coming out to speak about this. Hold on.
And you're saying that the abuse is taking place.
Yes, that the abuse is taking place. Yeah. Let me get my glasses on so I can read good.
Yes.
After reports of a gay cure therapist suspension of sexually engaging with patients, a Twitter user has accused the gospel singer and minister Donnie McClurkin Jr. of having ties to the Exodus International, a homosexual conversion organization with disturbing histories of sexual abuse and allegation. The individual claims his mother enrolled him in the Exodus years ago, and McClurkin and former religious gay cure cult via the organization. The dude then ran and took advantage of us, he wrote in his first series of viral tweets. I had lost my virginity in the gay cure therapy. He went on to explain that the organizers kicked him out after he told his parents about the abuse and that he resisted God's help. Fortunately, he says that he'd never experienced some of the organization's alleged inhumane treatments of victims of homosexuality, such as the electric shock therapy. However, the trauma suffering from sexual and mental abuse still lingers with him. McClurkin nor his team have made official statements regarding the accusation yet. In the meantime, so now the person actually goes on into discussing what happened to him. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Exodus International is a religious-based group who guarantees that they can pray the gay away. If you look
like guarantee I can pray the black away.
They have a documentary on Netflix. If you look it up, it's called Exodus International Pray the Gay Away. If you look it up, you'll find it, and it is ridiculous. People who have been part of that therapy have experienced electric shock. were forced to watch porn, were forced to engage in sexual activity with people of the opposite sex. There were a lot of different treatments that these people were discussing, and it wasn't just black people, it was white people, Asian people, anybody who believed in God. And these people thought that they have a whole headquarters and everything for this thing, and they feel that they can pray the gay away, and that if you be steadfast on God, that you can be a success story. Now in this documentary, they also show people that are alleged success stories in this, but the fact, it does not surprise me that, you know, Miss McClurkin has some dealings to do with this, because according to Miss Girl, she said that she played, you know, she prayed that the gay was prayed away from her, and that she fasted, and that she did all she needed to do for God to, you know, switch her spirit and change things around. Mind you, every time you see Donnie McClurkin, she just be flailing her hands just all over the place and be sitting here like this and all kind of food.
Grandma over the side. Dana, I don't know. But I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous.
So
you pray that away, but you ain't praying nothing else away.
If that is the case, then can you pray away a cheating heart? Can you pray away a thief? Exactly. Do we got, you know, murderers? Do we got a whole
racism
organization? That is one thing that
made pray the KKK away. How about that? You won't be praying for something.
Y'all praying because allegedly y'all are curing folks. Can you cure people of racism?
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Because we cure somebody of something that's not harming someone else.
I mean, first of all, the electric shock is ridiculous. I just think that that's, whoo.
I wish somebody would. I wish my parents would have.
I mean, my mother had the minister come to the house and talk to me. And, you know, every time I go into the church, you know, they just so happen to be having the gay sermon.
The gay sermon. It always comes up. They could be talking about tithe and offering,
and the gay scripture comes up, and you looking at the minister from the pew like, you tried it,
right? You tried it.
Like, come on now. And I mean,
they can use anything that comes up. I don't understand how you weave that. It's like there must be a class that they give.
It must be. I don't know.
Every time you see a gay person come to church, this is how you weave into the gay story and get condemnation.
Listen, all I'm going to say is this.
Hey, Ebony, how you doing, Strickland?
Donnie McClurkin needs to sit her little behind down.
Right.
And anybody else affiliated with that little thing over there, you need to stop it too. Because Donnie McClurkin stay making y'all over there at the Kojic Church looking real retarded all the time. We ain't asking her for her opinion. We ain't asking her to be praying nobody gay away. And who told you that Donnie McClurkin
was the best person to do that?
It was the best person to do that. And then for the woman who sitting up there talking about she getting ready to marry Donnie McClurkin girlfriend, I hope you there for the bachelor party, because all the little boys is gonna be there. Listen, he used to hang around Eddie Long, so you might want to figure that little piece out. You saw what happened to Eddie. Don't get yourself in those situations, ma'am. And you should be ashamed. I mean, no tea, no shame. I'm sorry. If I was a heterosexual woman, I could not be with a man that I know one time was getting it in with other men. And you allegedly got the gay prayed away. Where they do that at? But since y'all over there at Exodus International are praying gay away and curing people of all them things, come on over here and come cure this racism down here. Come on and come cure people of cheating hearts, lying, adulterers, people eating swine, and all kind of stuff, like all the sins in the Bible. Y'all should be able to come on down here and cure us of. We waiting. I mean, I'm so serious. Can you cure me of the fear? Because, I mean, I'm not supposed to be fearful. And the Lord said I'm not supposed to be. So with that being said, can you come cure my fear?
No.
No, you can't.
Anyway, that's a hot mess.
So I'm going to need Donnie McClurkin to go have several seats with the Exodus International. I need the Kojic Church to go tell that lady to go sit down and put her church hat on and just be quiet. Don't speak on nothing having to do with LGBTQIA issues. Because as far as I am concerned, you are still very part of this group. You just denying yourself.
But you know what? Historically, that's usually what happens. Because there was someone else that got caught, a politician most recently. Not recently, but not too long ago. Got caught having
sexual relations in his office. office.
In his office with someone of the same sex, and he's been one of the biggest advocates against gay rights agenda, anything like that. And it's always interesting to me, the ones that are yelling the hardest, the ones that are condemning the most, the ones that are sending people to hell and saying that God doesn't love them, are usually the same ones that are in that particular
that
life.
are closeted freaks and swinging off chandeliers and probably doing all kind of orgies and foolery.
Now, I'm the first one to say that no, being gay is not for everybody, but neither is being straight. And my thing is, be who you are. Be whoever God designed you to be, and don't allow anyone to dictate who that person is or put you inside inside of a box based on their own belief system. No, have your own. Be strong on your own. Have your own self-confidence. Matter of fact, leading into self-confidence, what were we going to talk about? The other thing.
We need to talk about that too. What we wanted to talk about is our daughters. We recently in Allentown, Pennsylvania, a little girl by the name of Amy Yu.
Oh, no, talk about this one first.
Talk about this one first?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go back to Amy.
We're going to talk about kids.
Okay, but we got a couple of things. We got two topics we're talking about kids. Well, one being that 127 Milwaukee high school students tested positive for HIV and syphilis. Let me give you that number one more again. 127 children in Milwaukee, of all places, have been tested positive for HIV
and syphilis.
And
old people disease.
I thought syphilis was eradicated. I didn't even know that one still existed. I just thought that one was done. Like, that's almost like as old as trichomonas. Like, how you still walking around with syphilis? But however, this month the Journal Sentinel reported that at least 125 students, including some high school students, have contracted HIV.
Including some high school students.
So
that means they all ain't in high school.
They all ain't in high school, but some of them have contracted HIV, syphilis, or both. Oh, Father.
I think you missed what I was saying. Some of them were in high school. There's 125. Anyway, keep going. Go ahead.
Or both. So if you had to be one. You caught both of them syphilis and HIV? We know what you was doing. Anyway. It is the largest STI cluster ever discovered in Milwaukee. 3 local babies were born with syphilis just last year. The cluster or social network has identified late last year. It involves at least 127 people, including 76 who tested positive for syphilis, HIV, or both, said Angela Hagley, the city director of disease control and environmental health. It includes 19 people who tested positive for syphilis, 24 who had syphilis and HIV, and 33 people who tested positive for HIV. Another 25 tested negative for both, and 26 could not be contacted or were unwilling to be tested. Gifford was among the dozen health leaders to discuss the HIV and syphilis cluster in Milwaukee that has affected 127 individuals, including young teens. The group held a news conference at City Hall on Tuesday to show that they are committed to taking action. I got a question. What action y'all finna take?
Right. I don't know. Giving out condoms, something. I really don't know what to do in that situation.
Every parent that is aware of this needs to think about how urgent it is for my children, Gaffey says. This can happen to any child in any school setting or outside the setting. It is very urgent, and parents need to act today. The cluster is in
aggregation of disease closely grouped in time and place. This cluster was identified as such because the people in it could all be connected and were in contact with each other during a 12-month.
Stop. 127 people, of which some were high school children, right? You're trying to tell me that these people were directly connected to each other. That means that there was some sort of statutory rape going on. Somebody was being grown. Men was doing pedophilia, and probably some women too, because they are liable to do it too. But I'm just saying that means that this is something that was going on with old and young people together. That's what the report said. So the mere fact that we have, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, how do we talk to our children about STIs and HIV? How are we talking to these kids about this? What are we telling our children about these diseases and things of that nature? What are we telling them? How are we going into those things with our children? What are we discussing with them? Because 127 people with HIV is ridiculous. With HIV,
and
STD,
or syphilis.
or both.
Or both. One or the other or both.
Like,
that's crazy, man. And that they all can be connected. That's, wow.
127 people that are connected to each other in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Sexually. That's crazy.
Because there are STDs. So that means that they had some sort of they had some sort of sexual encounter with one another in order to pass this.
Yeah. In a 12-month period.
So that means y'all was just over there getting around and over there in Milwaukee. But that's just Milwaukee. Let's think about our major cities.
Right.
The New Yorks, Atlanta is the hub for everything HIV. So, where are the reports for Atlanta?
They have them out, but this was
LA.
What was surprising, I think, for this one was that they were all connected. Like, it was a cluster of people that they could centralize. These people are connected with one another.
And then the sad part about it is that you had a couple of people who did not want to come back to get the results.
Right.
So that means to tell me that they're still walking around with this disease and they don't even know that they have it. So they can be possibly going to lay down with somebody else and infect. Oh, Father. See, this is why before you lay down and bust it open,
know your status.
You need to go with your boo thing to a Planned Parenthood and get your life in order. Because I can't do it. Get your papers, know your status. Me and the boo thing actually got HIV tested together.
Sure did.
And exchanged results 5 minutes away apart from one another. And we knew our statuses. There's no way in this world that you can actually have a relationship with somebody you don't know their HIV status. Now you got women, children, old and young, running around with HIV, syphilis, and or both. Yeah. And in Milwaukee, of all places.
There ain't nothing to do with it anyway. That's why they're having all this sex unprotected. It's just, man.
People, what are we doing with our kids?
In 2018, I just really don't get it. I really do not get it. In 2018, with all of this information out, all this access to information, like everybody knows having unprotected sex is not safe.
You can get HIV. You can get condoms for free.
That's what I'm saying. They give them out like Tic Tacs.
So I'm not understanding.
I don't get I'm just having a hard time understanding that in 2018 that we're having new cases of STIs and STDs. I just don't.
Not even that. We have medication now, PrEP. It's something that you can use.
But a lot of people don't still know about PrEP, though.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, PrEP is a pill that you take every day that will help prevent you from contracting HIV. So basically, in my opinion, PrEP to me is a way for you to go be a thot and not get caught. That's how I look at it. However, it is what it is, because if you're in a monogamous committed relationship, PrEP shouldn't even be something that you should be concerning yourself with. However, if you are sleeping with multiple different people, then PrEP is going to be a necessity. So for me, in my opinion, PrEP is just a way for people to go out there and be a thot and not get caught up with the monster. That's basically what PrEP is. It's not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing to prevent. And if you want to be a thot and you don't want to get caught out there, then take the precautions to get yourself ready. If you're not going to use condoms, at least figure out a way to not catch it. And then, the people who always catch the disease be sitting there like, oh my God, I caught HIV. What
you thought was going to happen? Like, what did you really think?
If your behaviors are indicative of someone that's being promiscuous or someone being loose and not knowing your status, then
what do you think?
What do you think is going to happen?
Chances? Anyway, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I still can't get over 2018. Really, this is where we still. But then again,
syphilis though, of all the nasty ones, like syphilis. What y'all was doing? Where they dug up syphilis from?
That's an old. dirty
That's
man. He's like old, like 70-year-old.
That's a STI you heard in the 80s and in the early 90s. Where that one come from? Like, ooh. When I read that, I thought they eradicated it. Like
nope. Syphilis is here, live and straight. Well,
clearly in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee.
Which brings us, because we're talking about these high school kids, which brings us to the topic. I don't know if you guys saw in the news, there's a girl named by Amy Yu who's from Pennsylvania. She's actually from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Your neck of the woods. From
my neck of the woods. And she had a boyfriend who is 45 years old. So
she had a pedophile.
She had a pedophile. So today they actually released the timeline of how this relationship came to be. Now, for those of you who, I'm pretty sure it's not a lot of you live in Allentown. No. When it was first reported, it was reported that the girl could have been trafficked. She was being trafficked.
Human trafficking. I'm telling this one, make sure you take the woo out. Nope, she cannot stay in the car ever at all. Take her in with you.
And it was funny because we were just talking about people snatching people's kids, and then lo and behold, they were talking about this girl. Now, she had been missing for 2 weeks, and they didn't know where she was. But they had an idea of someone who may have taken her, and then they were saying that she was in danger. And human trafficking was one of the things that they were discussing that possibly happened with this child. Well, lo and behold, they find them. And they find them in Mexico.
Spring break, Cancun.
Not only do they find them in Mexico, but now they want to divulge all the information behind the relationship between these two. Now let's go back.
Yes, this is where it got crazy.
The man has known this little girl since she was 7 and 8 years old. They go to the same church.
Nikki, hold on, time out. I'm not sure if it is available for people that don't have medical insurance, but I think it is.
It is.
I think you can get it from like the HIV Council or something like that in your area, because I know they're giving it out here.
And they're actually giving it out for free. And if you go to your local Planned Parenthoods and you find your AIDS Coalition or your Gay Man's Health Crisis, a lot of those places you can actually fill out paperwork. Yeah. And there's grants available for people to get it who cannot afford to pay for them. So they can
have access to it.
You can have access to it.
And I know condoms are everywhere.
And it's not, the PrEP is not a drug that you're going to take for forever and a day. You take it for a period of time and then you stop. And then if you want us to resume another cycle, you can. PrEP is not a pill that you're going to take every day. There is a breaking point within the PrEP where you do stop and then you wait some time and then you start a new cycle if that's what you choose to do. So check with your local Planned Parenthoods, your free clinics and things of that nature. They can tell you how you can go about and get PrEP.
So go back to
but Amy Yu. First of all, I'm mad that her name is Amy. Let's just start all the way there. Okay? Yeah. Her name is Amy. And then she's Asian. Which only further,
I was like, oh, it's snatching Asian people now too? Because originally it was like, they wanted blonde hair, blue eyes. Then they wanted, African American little boys.
And now they're taking the Asian girl.
I said, well, gosh, they just...
So apparently, the man's name is Kevin Eastley. He is from Pennsylvania, Allentown as well. He went to the same church with the little girl Amy and her mama, and
with his wife
and four daughters. Okay. Now he went with these people, met them, and took a special liking to this girl.
Special interest.
And for years,
since it was 7,
since the girl was 7 years old, he was took a special interest in the child. Allegedly, was taking the girl on family trips, camping. and beach trips, all kind of stuff with this girl. And then lo and behold, in 2017, the mother and the wife, Stacy, the wife named Stacy Eastley, and put you on blast because I'm about to read you in a minute. They both felt some kind of way. And
how are you going to both, for one, that's it right here. How are you as a mama going to feel some kind of way, and then the wife also feels the same kind of way that you have? We're not going to have a conversation about this. No, we're not talking about this.
We're calling the police.
Down and having no type of intervention. Dude.
I'm calling the cops on you.
They're going to call the cops on me. Because if I'm feeling some kind of way, and the woman that is married to you, that had your 4 children, that's been in a relationship with you the longest before I knew you, is also feeling some kind of way.
Feeling some kind of way. Mm-mm. Like, what were you thinking?
What we talking about? What we gonna talk about? What's to discuss?
First of all,
I don't need your side of a story. You ain't got no story right now. I'm about to give you the story real quick.
In November of 2017, they decided to address the husband, and he said, "Oh, I think of her as my daughter. I would never do such a thing. What are you talking about?"
But what was he doing? That's another thing too. What if he's been around her all those years? What was he doing that now has them questioning things?
Well, I mean, it had to have been something. And then it goes further on to say that that was, I guess, the straw that broke the camel's back, the meeting in 2017, because it was done at the at Amy's house with neighbors and friends and other people.
Around.
Like, so you're trying to tell me that a community of people.
That's what I said. They had an intervention.
You had a community of
about?
people who knew something wasn't right in that relationship.
So that means not only her and I, me and your wife feel some kind of way. All these other people,
neighbors, friends, other family members,
right.
Like the girl Amy even became friends with the eldest daughter. So now you got a bestie in the whole situation. Okay, keep on going. The little girl Amy decided that I want to call her a little hooker, but I'm gonna digress. Mm-hmm. The little girl Amy decided to list this man. Yeah, she was trained. She listed this man on her school paperwork as her stepdaddy. So now he was able to come to the school and has been noted 10 times since November of taking this child out of school, signing her out of school early. And the mama knew nothing about it. Okay? Once, I guess, all of this started to come to light, he wasn't allowed to come back on the campus of the high school anymore. But that still didn't stop the situation, because the mother said she found hundreds of text messages between Kevin and the daughter, Amy, that were like she was talking to her boyfriend. So needless to say, we know that something is going on. Fast forward. The wife is trying to check his phone and saw some Facebook posts, and he was angry. They got into a whole physical altercation because they were having an argument about who? Amy. Why are you still arguing with this man over a 16-year-old child? That could possibly be your daughter. Stacy, I'm about to read you in a minute, but we're going to digress for a little bit. So lo and behold, all of this is still going on. What ended up happening? Girlfriend takes some money, some of her mother's jewelry, and her paperwork. And she leaves. Her mom drops the child off to the bus stop.
Thinking she going to go to school.
The heifer don't show up to school. People say that they saw the couple. They saw her getting into his red Honda Accord. And what did they do? This fool took $4,000 out of his wife's bank account.
His wife's account.
Now the fact that the news they was being petty.
Right.
They added
that part. His wife's account.
The fact that he went into his wife's account lets me know that he broke. So he went into his wife's account, took $4,000.
He's garbage.
Booked one-way tickets from Philadelphia International Airport to Cancun, Mexico. Okay. So not only did he do that, but then she had. My whole thing was, how did they get to Mexico? Did she have a passport?
She got her paperwork.
I was just a little bit taken back.
All her documents. She got what she needed, her stuff.
So they left from Philadelphia to Dallas, and then Dallas to
7 minutes, 6.
Okay, from Dallas to Cancun. So they went to Cancun. The girl been gone for 2 weeks. 2 weeks this little heifer gone. They found him in some resort city in Mexico. Now, mind you, you would think that he would be arrested for some sort of rape, statutory rape. No, absolutely not.
Because the statute of consent, age of consent
is 16.
Yeah.
So basically, this man redshirted this girl from the age of 7.
Wait until she was ready to play.
Ready until she was young and tender and fresh to get her. And then when he could do what he wanted to do to her, where he knew he wouldn't have been charged with a rape charge, he was able to do whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So now my question, both the minister and I were talking about it, for me as a mother of a daughter, and so is the minister, I constantly reinforce positive thoughts into my daughter, letting her know that she is a beautiful girl, telling my daughter that she doesn't need a man for anything.
But you know, it's not just our daughters, it's all of our children, because those children grow up to be unhappy adults. Those grow up to be unadaptive adults. Those grow up to be adults that have self-esteem, self-image issues. Those adults grow up to be self-hating, self-loathing. Those adults grow up envying other people. Those adults grow up not wanting to be comfortable, or not wanting to be who they are, and uncomfortable in the skin that they're in. Hey, bro, good to see you. I hope you enjoyed your party too. Those adults grow into wanting to be other people that they see. Either they want them, or they want them to be like them, or they want to put their skin on them. Those people grow up and they don't have an idea of who they are. They have no idea who self is, I is, what I like, what I want to do. They have no voice, no backbone. They don't know how to speak up for themselves, defend for themselves, can't think for themselves, and then don't realize that they're being puppeteered by somebody else conducting and ruling those lives. Those adults grow up to be weak people.
Exactly. And with that being said, it starts off with them being as children.
Yep.
And how we mold and shape this clay of a child that we have from birth to 18 says a lot. And the mere fact that Miss Amy Yu was 16 years old and she deemed it appropriate for herself to have any type of relationship with a 45-year-old man that you've known since you were 7 years old is beyond me. I'm sorry. At 7 years old, I was still playing with Cabbage Patches and all kind of foolery. And my mama did not allow any man to come next to me that last name was not named Diaz. And for me growing up, I can actually say my father made it a point and duty to always let me know that I was a beautiful girl, and that how I needed to be valued as a woman, as a young adult, as just planting those little seeds of self-esteem and encouragement in your child is important.
It is, but I get that. But once you became an adult, the responsibility of self-love and self-care belongs to whom?
It belongs to me.
Exactly. So my thing is, whether you get that reinforcement as a child or not, at some point in your life, you realize your shortcomings. You realize more than anybody else will realize what you have an issue with, whether it's yourself or anything like that. And so you have the responsibility to get yourself now to where you need to be, where no one else can deter you because they say you're cute. You know what I'm saying? Or you're smart. They can't fool you to do other things. You know what I'm saying? They can't fool you to pull away from people that actually really care about you.
Exactly. But then, piggyback off of what you're saying,
that goes well if you don't love yourself and you don't like the skin you in. You know that as a grown person.
And that goes, but again, that I understand what you're saying when we are adults now.
Yeah.
So as adults, we need to carry ourselves as adults. Forgetting that a lot of the time, this is where your mental health and you seeking health, mental health is going to, a mental health advice and going to sit on somebody's couch can actually help you become a better person. Because if your self-esteem is low, then of course all your decision making.
In the weekend. You ain't gonna get that unplugging from social media. You ain't gonna get that from that. You need to go sit and talk with someone and work through your issues.
And now with this little girl, Amy, from what it says in the news articles, it did not mention a father. So in my opinion, this man played into that. Yeah. He played into being her father and did all the things that daddy would do with his daughter. But then it was so skewed in a whole set of nastiness that it turned into that's her man and he's 45 and you 16. And
it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. And the thing about it is that
that's perverted.
That's perversion. Because for him as a man to be able to come to that child in such a manner, it was just ridiculous. But then we also need to look at mom and the situation and how mom has been dealing with this child. at the end of the day, we can always tell our children that they're beautiful. I tell my daughter every day that she is a gorgeous little girl, that this is how she needs to be treated. This is how other people need to treat her, whether it male or female. And she should demand respect and have self-worth and class about who she is as a person. And if we don't teach those things to our children, our sons and our daughters from early, they will become victims.
Maladaptive
Adults, and they fall prey to people like this Kevin Eastley.
He gained access. Go ahead, I'm sorry, baby.
They become victims to people like Kevin Eastley, who took full advantage of this little girl who probably did have daddy issues because from.
Did, but what was her mama like? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look, dog. Why are you so interested? I'm asking some questions. Why are you so interested in my kid, whether there's a father around or not? I'm asking, like, yo, what's up? Why you? I'm just questioning. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna question that. He gained access. Unfortunately, here we go again, because this now is gonna drive people away from the church again. He gained access through the church.
Yes,
they were all going to church together, and then he took a liking or interest into this little girl.
She was 7. She was 7 years old.
No, dog.
You trying to tell me I go to church on a big old Sunday? We all go to church, and brother so-and-so at the church, oh, Sister Majesty, oh, look at these kids. Oh, they're so beautiful. Won't you let them come over? First of all sorts of alarms are going off in my head. Because honestly, let's be truthful. Women,
this is a sexist comment, but it is. I mean, it's sorry. It's how I see it too.
I mean, and I'm sorry if any men that are on the live or that will see this live, I'm sorry if you feel some type of way. But in the society that we live in today, that's how we have to view certain things. As a woman, if another mother comes to me and says, "Majesty, come let the kids come over, let them play. They the same age, this is that and the third, la di da 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 da." Oh, of course, whatever. Introduce me to your husband or whatever the case may be. I can see that. Okay? Mm-hmm. This man didn't do that. He did it by himself.
Husband did it by himself.
He didn't even bring his wife into the situation and say, "Hey, Stacy, what you think?" or whatever. Because usually the wives are the ones that come to the other mothers and say, "Oh, well, we're friends. Let our kids be friends. Let them play." The wife and the mother didn't even have a friendship with one another. Hell, the mom and and Kevin didn't even have a friendship with one another.
Thank you.
So with that being said, this stranger's taking my
child, and my daughter, my 7-year-old daughter.
See, now Miss Stacy, let me harp and get you together as a wife. Do you think the time
red flag? Yep.
The minister is not coming to me to tell me, we taking this child here and we doing this here and we doing this here with this child. I'm gonna be looking at her like, why? We got babies.
Right. 4.
What
daughters at that?
4 daughters. Like, girl,
what you trying
to bring a 5th one
You better
into
take
this?
these girls and go have a tea party and you can get me sit down somewhere.
Like, you trying to bring a 5th one in here? Why do we need that in here? It's my question as a wife to my mate. And
y'all saw it.
Oh. As a wife to my mate, I'm gonna ask these questions. I'm gonna be like, babe, why is we entertaining other people's kids? We got all these kids running around here, and to let it go on for years. And you should have been looking at that. You know your husband.
You just get uncomfortable. No, you being uncomfortable with it. You just had the opportunity to go talk to the mama. Y'all just happened something came out in discussion. That's what it was.
Yes, Jessica, there's a whole bunch of red flags that was going on. But Miss Stacy didn't want to address them. Because there'd be no way in the world that my mate could do that, could bring somebody else's child into this house. Or let me not even say my mate, because I'm in a gay relationship, so for me, another woman, I can see mother to mother. My husband, we know that ain't never happening. But my husband coming to me and telling me that
we didn't do that. He didn't come to her.
He didn't even come to me. He didn't even come to the wife. He just said he just took the interest. Wrong. And now I'm starting to question Miss Stacy. Stacy, what has he been doing with your daughters?
Right.
What has he been doing with your daughters? She lawyered up real quick.
Oh, yeah. Because there's more to the story.
And more of it is going to come out. And I'm eager to hear what Miss Lil Amy's story is. Because she is no innocent bystander in this situation. Because she played into...
she's a child baby, so she is. Because, unfortunately, yes, she's very innocent. She's the biggest victim out of all of it.
She's a victim
She's
at
a
home.
victim out of all of it. No.
She's
On
a
several
victim.
parts. Her mother failed her.
Her mother, yep. Her mother failed her. The school failed her.
Failed her.
Because there should be no way that she should have been able to go to school.
The neighbors that saw something was wrong too, they failed her. The man's wife, Kenneth, whatever Eastman, his wife failed her. Her other siblings that saw something was wrong, they failed her. All of these people that are in the light failed her.
I'm suing the Allentown School District.
She's 7.
I'm suing the Allentown School District, and this is why. When this child was able to go into the school and add this man as her stepfather onto her emergency contact card, and not call the mother and be like, oh, we saw that there was an ad to your emergency contact.
Verify that. They do that any other time for anything else. Emails, there's a verification when you change your password to your email address. There's a verification when you do anything. Change a bill, update bill, take away from your bill. There's verifications for all those things, but we don't verify things for our children's records. Like, that makes no sense.
How was this girl able to go into the main office of the school and add this man as her stepfather?
And you don't talk to the parent, the one that's been on her record. The mama didn't come and add it. So how is a child going to add a stepfather, my husband, to her record? What sense does that make?
I'm suing the Allentown School District. I'm letting y'all know that right now. I'd have been at the lawyer's office. I'm suing them.
The more you think about that, a child goes into her main office of her school and adds a mysterious stepfather to her record, and no one contacts the mother to verify any addition. Nobody asks for any paperwork, his social security, nothing at all.
I wonder if the secretary at the school was fired, because that is her responsibility to make sure that is done. So where's the secretary in all of this? Secondly, the daughters. First of all,
thank you. Her locker combination is the only thing she can change. You absolutely right.
You're right. Her locker combination should be all that she should be able to change.
You have to, as a parent, have to go to put the kid in school. So how are they able to add? That's all I don't understand that.
I'm still confused over the fact that, so he's being charged with interfering of custody.
Because he took her out of state without permission.
Because he took her out of state.
That's it. That's the only thing he's charging with.
You can't charge him with
kidnapping.
You can't charge him
for involuntary.
You can't charge him for anything sexual.
You can't charge him for anything.
But
you know what? I hope those text messages goes back to before she was the age of consent. Honey, because if they do.
Well, even if the text messages go back before then, you would still have to prove that sexual activity happened
if he admits it. If he admits it, which if they're texting like that, he's going to be stupid enough to say something crazy. Well, if he says something crazy in there, it can be also they can charge with lewd acts with a minor.
Yes.
There's a couple of different things they can rack up a couple of different things.
First of all, can we talk about the fact that no one called children's services and all of that?
Hey, Candace.
If the school knew that if the school put into place that this man could no longer come on campus to take this child off the school ground, why was this not a mandatory reporting?
Oh, but that's the same thing about the politician. Remember the one in Texas where they wouldn't even, he couldn't even go to the mall because he was looking at the little girls?
Yeah, but I mean,
you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that one. But then even still with that,
this school is a politician. He had no clout.
But the school is a mandatory reporting. You have to it is your job. You have to report if you feel that there is something going wrong. So when the school realized that he had been signing his child out 10 times since November, out of school early, right? And you knew that this person was not the stepfather, and the mother confirmed that and all this stuff, and now he was no longer allowed to come onto the campus, why wasn't Children's Services called?
Right.
Because that's a mandatory report.
What are they going to say? We let some student put some stranger on their record and he's been signing her out of school?
But bigger than that.
Because they're going to get sued. They open themselves to a lawsuit.
Exactly. But even with that, just like you mentioned, Amy is now going to grow up to be an adult who now has a whole set of issues and so on and so forth that she will never be able to get right from. Without help. And as an adult,
it is falsification.
But
she's a minor. So what do? Do you charge her and punish her?
Exactly. And because she is so young and naive, now we have to start dealing with other facets of that, which is, okay, what do we now do with the 16-year-old child who has been placed in situations where she had to act as an adult? And then, just as the minister mentioned, we're talking about she's going to be an adult now who is going to have self-esteem issues, self-love issues, and all types of different things, and is going to be a person that is going to hate themselves essentially. So now with that,
looking for love in all the
wrong places, or looking for attention from other people that she should not seek it from. Mm-hmm. And more often than not, we see this with a lot of adults, and we dismiss it. You know, sometimes when you see someone who habitually treats on their mate, you know, you look at it and you be like, well, damn, why are you always cheating on your girl? Or why are you always cheating on your man? It could possibly be because they're lacking something from their childhood that has never been addressed in their adulthood. And when you start recognizing those sorts of traits in people, you know, you can try to help them and lead them to water as much as humanly possible.
Ooh,
but
yes,
you can't force them to get the help that they need in order to be the person that they were destined to be. And it's sad that now in this day and age, we have children that are being placed in adult situations. Mm-hmm. And we forget that these children do then in turn become adults later on in life. And then what do? Now you have a discombobulated adult making adult decisions when it comes to finances, when it comes to having their own children, when it comes into marriages, when it comes into their work lives, when it comes into anything that they have going on. And if you ever notice these people, everything is in shambles. And they may try to decorate it.
I was about to say that. Now, I've been with someone that had their previous life, they was a hoe. They were a hoe, a whore, not even a hoe. They were a whore. And they had STIs, STDs, or whatever. They had but when I met them, they cleaned up their life. And what I mean by that, they pretty much cleaned their image. Okay. I'm a firm believer that the same thing you do that you did 10 years from now, you're exactly capable of doing the same thing current day, present day. You know, if you don't take the time to do the work. And the reality was, you cleaned yourself on the inside, but you were still the same whore you were before. And you still did the same thing again. You did something that was whorish again because you didn't take the time to do the self-work, to take the time to do the repairing, to take the time to do true self-reflection, not taking the time out or sitting in the corner and pouting. True self-reflection and seeing now where I am at this point in my life as an adult, I have the opportunity to take control of my decisions. I have the opportunity to take control and lead my life differently. It doesn't have to be like it was in the past. I don't have to succumb to the foolish decisions that I made as a child. Mm-hmm. I don't have to continue to be a whore. I don't have to continue to hate myself. I don't have to continue to envy other people. I don't have to continue to live a dangerous life sexually or with drugs or anything. I don't have to continue to do those things. As an adult, I can choose to take control of my own life and stop blaming circumstances and other people that I couldn't control as a child.
Exactly. I mean, let's be honest. As children, I myself is one that I dealt with self-esteem issues that stemmed from things that happened to me as a child. And as an adult, I chose, as an adult, to recognize those things about me and those shortcomings about me and address them. And it's not until I addressed them that different things in my life turned around. Yes. So it shows it's a lot of different things, but I am a person who can speak to that.
You don't have to be.
You don't have to be a victim. You know, I grew up in a household where my mother told me that because I was fat, that she wished she could punch me in the stomach because I was fat, and I grew up with that whole sense of worthlessness because now I didn't feel pretty enough. I didn't feel like I was valued, and though my father tried to reiterate some of those things for me, it's very different when you got one parent telling you one thing, you have another one telling you something different. So where I had my father who was strong enough to tell me that, Amy, you are beautiful in who you are, embrace who you are. I also had a mother who was like, oh my gosh, I hate how you look in this. I wish I could punch you in your stomach so that you would just look good. And two polar opposites of each other, and the one that I chose to hang on to was the negative. And now I grew up as an adult with a complex of, oh my gosh, I have to find a way to lose weight. Oh my gosh, I have to look good all the time. Oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? And I found myself in relationships and friendships with people who did not value me because I was made to feel worthless. But I was able to recognize those things and then take the steps to make changes. And for that, with my own daughter, I choose to do the complete opposite that was done to me. I want to reaffirm to her that she is a beautiful girl. I want to reaffirm to her that she is worth something and that she should be treated in a certain type of way, and reinforce the fact that her self-esteem and her self-view of who she is as a young girl, she needs to keep. But in our self-esteem, we also have to take, I know that the self-esteem is the esteem of ourselves, but we also have to remember that from our self-esteem, it's also part from the people's outside views, thoughts, and opinions on what they view of us.
Hey, Nicole.
And because of that, I don't want to say that I want to blame our parents or blame my parents for the stupidity that they did.
Right.
But the seed is planted at those points.
But at some point in time,
you have to assume responsibility for you.
Exactly. And I'm like, and I'm not trying to excuse that. I'm not saying, well, oh, you don't know my life. You don't know how bad I had it. I'm not saying that. I promise I'm not. But even with that, as bad as it was, as horrible as your past or your childhood may have been, as horrible as those things are, you as the adult that you are today can speak differently into your own life.
And if you need to go sit on somebody's couch, please go and do it. Listen, they have even apps on your phone now that you can even go do online counseling. Call someone on the phone and have a therapy session. Like,
but there are too many resources. Exactly. There's too many resources for you to allow your past to affect your future, because now the responsibility is yours. It is yours.
And when you start seeing certain things about yourself that you know is just wrong, you need to address them. What did she say?
Jessica, you were the bomb. You was on it tonight, honey. Amy, do those tapes still play in your head?
Of my mother?
Yeah.
Yes. I used to weigh 324 pounds, for those of y'all who don't know. And I've lost over 160 pounds. Since, of course, I had help to get that done. But I still have my fat girl moments where I look at myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just look so huge. Or if I see 10 pounds go up on a scale, I get nervous. And I do have that little girl moment where I cower into myself. Matter of fact, I had it today. I put on a dress. I put on a dress today, and I looked at the minister and I was like, how do I look? Does it look like I'm fat? You know, is my stomach poking out? Do I look crazy?
Right.
And I really didn't have a reason to, but I was just so self-conscious in my head about the fact that I did not want to look.
I ain't gonna tell y'all what I was thinking, but you know.
I just didn't want to look unattractive in the dress. So yes, Jessica, those thoughts do play in my mind to the point that I've lost so much weight and I've had 2 children. I will get a tummy tuck to get it going. And I know that some of it does play into what was told to me as a child, and some of it has to do with just me wanting to look a certain kind of way. But at its core, the root comes from that, from what I was told as a child. So as much as I stand here today much more confident than what I've ever been before in my life, I can't sit here and say that I don't have my weak moments where I do get self-conscious and my self-esteem does get low. So
there's a difference between having a moment and that, and this is now your life.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Listen, don't tell me. I beat my face and I get real cute, and you can't tell me nothing. I'm cute. And even as a big girl, let me tell you something. Majesty was doing the thing as a big girl, okay? But all of this is superficial, because once I wipe it away,
she's still beautiful,
and I tie my hair to go to sleep,
she's still hot.
I still have to turn around and look in the mirror and look at that girl and look at that girl and say, you know, wow, okay, you've come a long way. However, I do have my insecure moments, and it happens. But then it's in those weakest times where I either look at my mate and she's always there to lift me up. I'm so grateful for her.
Aww.
And I have certain people in my corner that can kind of recognize it. Therese, shout outs to her, I know she's watching, who's always been there to remind me of certain things of myself. And I got a therapist. Shout out to Martha Dorr.
Yes.
Y'all can go and see her. She's excellent. That I can go and talk to, and she can walk me through those things. But see, I have a therapist
Go get you one.
who I can go and sit with on the couch, and she can discuss with me how I need to move forward and how I can get past those insecurities and those self-esteem issues
Right.
and work on the
Exactly.
inner parts of me.
Because it's a bad thing when you don't really realize that the people you had in your life really had your best interest. Really, truly had their best interest. And because they were trying to push you to get the help, push you out of your comfort zone, pushed you out of the cesspool of self-hate and self-loathing, you chose to stay there and get rid of the people. That's a problem.
That is a problem. I'll speak for myself. I've had friendships with people where I push them to do their best and it doesn't always work out. And those
Push through Martha Dorr. Yep.
yes. You can, when you're in those low places, you can be a friend to someone who has.
Sometimes people are just in those low places so long like
That
the
you
song,
can't-
what was it? They look up to me. I was down so long that down now looks like up. That you sit in that that space so long that now this is the norm for you.
And it's sad because those types of people who do not address their issues push away friends, push away relationships, or turn around and get into toxic relationships where the mate is being possessive,
Yes,
aggressive, controlling, being your daddy, being your mama, being your auntie, being whatever else, being someone of authority
I'm not
to
your daddy,
you.
I'm your grandpa. Right.
But and sometimes you can try to help a friend out, but if they don't choose to take the advice that you give, which is sound and valid, then you can't, there's nothing that you can do. You can help people, but you can't force.
Nope. Like the Bible says, dust your feet off your shoes and keep it moving. You're not willing to listen.
Man,
Pray
listen,
for people.
that scripture did something for me last week. Y'all don't even know.
Yep.
So, but that is all we have this week.
Yes.
We hope that you guys can take this conversation and have it with your friends and everyone else and just talk about everything. If you haven't watched the series 7 Seconds, go watch it. Remember, love your kids. Reinforce positive things into your children. If you see
As a
something,
child today will be an adult tomorrow.
yes. Don't forget the minister, the Cosby, the Gathering, Cosby,
Yes.
1919 Hampton Street.
Yes.
On
Bible study
Wednesday from 6:30. And then we have Chaplain's Corner at 7 o'clock on Thursday on Facebook Live.
And our next Sunday service is April 1st at 11 o'clock a.m.
1919 Hampton Street. Make sure you come and you come get a excellent word. That is always a good thing. Again, Wednesday at 6:30 to 7:30. Bible study, 1919 Hampton Street, Columbia, South Carolina. Thursday, Facebook Live at 7, Chaplain's Corner. And then we have April 1st, our Sunday service at 11 o'clock, right?
Yep.
At 11 o'clock, 1919 Hampton Street. Oh, if you would like to purchase a She Said, She Said mug,
There you go.
or She Said mug, please hit us up in the inbox. You can get it.
Mine's blue, hers is pink. And
Blue.
you get a different color.
You can get a different color. You can get blue. You can get pink. So just hit us up for them. We will have more products for you to get. We appreciate you guys. Enjoy your Sunday. Have a blessed week. Baby over here thing
It's
it.
that time of month, y'all.
Yes,
I'm ready to make it.
and it's that time of the month for the both of us.
Yes.
But we're grateful. Thank you for hanging out with us in the
Yes,
bed.
in the bed.
We hope you guys have an awesome week. We will see you again soon. Bye,
Y'all
everybody.
take care. God bless.